What was your biggest misconception when it comes to aging? Bam! You're old. Nope. It sneaks up on you. And you're often in denial about it for a long, long time. Remember when you'd roll your eyes because your 40-something parents thought they were still young? I'm nowhere near 40, but I get it now, I really do. The biggest cognitive dissonance is when you realize that someone you perceive as a very grown-up and adult is your age or younger. I'm in my mid-30s, yes, I look and dress relatively similarly to how I always did, I often feel very young. I don't know how to describe it, I'm not particularly childish or anything, but I'm not a serious person. Then I see someone I perceive as an adult because they look or play a serious role, maybe they're parents or very corporate or just have a very self-assured, serious attitude. And I see myself as much younger than this person. If I realize they're really the younger one, it feels weird and reality-shattering. Like, who am I? What do I appear like to people? I work with people who are either 10+ years older or 5 to 10 years younger than me, and it's crazy. In my head I feel more like the younger coworkers until I have them come up to me and ask me about finding their own apartment or getting a 401k, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm an adult. And then I turn around and ask my older coworkers for recommendations on nursing homes and DIY home projects, lol. Ah, the eternal paradox of feeling caught between adulting and adulting. Welcome to the twilight zone of aging gracefully. The realization that having it all figured out is just a myth and we're all just winging this adulthood thing together. Couldn't agree more. Turns out adulting is just a prolonged game of fake it till you make it. I thought I'd retire, live maybe 3 to 4 years at home, then go to a nursing home. I've been retired 12 years, have an active social life, drive anywhere I want to go, and am very accustomed to this lifestyle. 76-year-old. My grandpa turned 90 this year, and until 2 years ago when grandma got diagnosed with a bad case of dementia and he had to stay home more often, he still went out on his bicycle every day. Sure, there's certain things that go slower or get worse as he ages, but he's one of the fittest or more active 90-year-olds I've seen or known. He still drives twice a week on small roads with little traffic to go visit grandma, and last time I went with him he rode pretty alright. I see worse every day on my commute to work. The misconception that you retire and wait to die is oh so wrong. Older brother of my manager retired 2 years ago at 65, and he sold his commuter bike and bought a touring motorcycle, and he visits other retirees that retired abroad. Leaves Belgium to go to some random place bumfuck Germany for a week. Goes to the French Alps, Spain, etc. You're as old as you let yourself get is what I notice very often now. People in my grandma's retirement home are refusing to use a walker not because they don't want one but because they don't want to grow dependent on one. My grandparents are doing that. They need a full cultural revolution that I don't have the time to provide, so I visit them in horror knowing they haven't done anything since last visiting besides watching TV all day. My grandma worked as long as she could because she just loved it. Walked, cleaned, gardened every day. She had a stroke, and when she got out of the hospital, she did leg exercises and walked, gardened, cleaned, again. She couldn't walk as far, but she still did. If she hadn't been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer at 91, I truly believe she would have made it to 100. While this is a topic concerning the elderly, it also transfers to all other ages that activity is key to staying or becoming healthy, both physically and mentally. In physiotherapy there's the age-old rest if you have back pain, but more and more doctors, physiotherapists etc. are recommending moderate exercise, progressively increasing in intensity or duration very short after surgeries or muscle tears. If it's built up slowly and not overdone, there's been a lot of people that go back to normal or even manage to go past that, often seen in strength athletes, and probably other athletes too, of all levels. Mentally, this change is also perceived to have large benefits. The old way of thinking was if you almost died because of it and you're scared, then don't do it, lead to people no longer driving, no longer taking stairs, no longer doing X and Y. A colleague of mine had an accident the weekend after New Year's, aquaplaning leading to a crash with very mild injuries, some light damage and mainly a mental demon. Getting back in the car was key for him because if he put it off for 2 weeks that demon would have been able to grow for 2 weeks, making it that much more frightening to start driving again. Sure, he didn't have to flash by the same spot on the highway again day one, but getting back in the car, short stints of highway again etc. are the way to not have the fear of what hurt him take over his life. I think the worst part of aging isn't necessarily the bodily aging part but just that every stupid idiom and saying old people used to drop on you ends up slowly happening. And then you catch yourself imparting those same sayings to youngsters and realize that you are now becoming that old person. It's a rite of passage, man. Take it with pride. I gave life advice to a 19-year-old today, the same advice I was given when I was 19 that I promptly ignored. He too will ignore my wisdom, and the cycle repeats. What did you tell them? I should have listened to my dad about not fucking up my posture. My back doesn't hurt at all, but my spine is curved more than it should be and isn't good looking. I was under the impression it would start later. I'm in my mid-30s. Among my peers, I have a few friends who have experienced cancer, menopause, 2 who are widowed. It's definitely not a majority by any means, but the curve has started and it's only going to pick up from here. Yap. You start to notice the decline of the body by your late 20s, when hangovers start to become a multi-day affair, and when small injuries that used to heal overnight begin lingering a lot longer. That's really the main difference around that time. You heal slower, etc. But some people, they really do take this to ridiculous degrees and they act like they're decrepit by the time they hit their 30th birthday. No, you didn't wake up at 30 with a slowed metabolism or every joint/muscle aching because you're old, you just don't walk enough, fam. People told me that old dogs can't learn new tricks. But, I'm not a dog, and I can now solve a Rubik's Cube, lol. Solving a Rubik's Cube for the first time is amazing. A couple of years ago I learned the algorithms over 2 days, and now it's an excellent party trick. Also great for taking quick work breaks. It's a super easy way to refocus, I find. 100% agree. First time took me 2 weeks to learn and now it has been a hobby for years. The feeling of solving a complex puzzle is a high that I find nowhere else. Then you get into speed cubes and next thing you know you own half a dozen. Please like and subscribe for more daily content.